have a round of applause for Katerina, your lovely MC. And Barry Fern's your first act as well. My name's Don. I'll start tonight by explaining two things about me. Number one, I have a condition called dyspraxia. Give us a cheer if you've heard of it. For those people who don't know what it is, it's a learning difficulty which, among other things, affects my organisation skills. Therefore, I have a tendency to lose things all the time. Thanks. Number two, also true about me, as a member of the Asian community, live in this country, I'm twice as likely to get stopped and searched by the police. But relax, I can turn these two negatives into two fucking positives. Because next time I get frisked by a police officer, number one, they'll find out I'm not a terrorist. And number two, I'll find out where the fuck my keys have been for the last 2 days. Some of you worried where that punchline was going to go there, but... Before I move on, I was just wondering, do you think if Hitler was alive today, that he could challenge Churchill to cheaper car insurance? Oh, no. Should Muslim women who wear the full veil be allowed to join Facebook? I think I should move on after that slide. Last year, my best mate was accused of date rape. And when he went to court, he pleaded that it wasn't a date. To be honest, that's a joke that can go either way tonight. I'll move away from that joke. Tell you a little bit about myself. I've been doing stand-up comedy for 5 years now, and nobody knows who the fuck I am. No need to clap that at the back. Thanks. But the reason why this is, because I've been mainly doing gigs on the London open mic circuit. Allow me to explain London open mic circuit gigs. They're the type of gigs where there's usually 30 comedians on the bill and one audience member. So it's less of a gig and more of a hostage situation. They're the type of gigs, the one thing you're less likely to find than laughter is hope. But there's a reason why I do these gigs, because it still allows me to talk about stuff I'm interested in, such as politics. I believe that we live in a society where our mainstream media doesn't always report the right news stories. For example, give us a cheer if you've heard of the Bilderberg Group. No one. Allow me to explain. The Bilderberg Group is a group of 120 of the top heads of companies, bankers, politicians and future politicians who meet in secret every year, in their own words, to have off-the-record discussions about foreign and economic policy. Now, for me, the meeting in secret smacks of a lack of democracy. So therefore, if you ever hear about some powerful people in the world meeting in secret, it's probably the Bilderberg Group. Unfortunately, if you hear about me meeting other people in secret, it's definitely a London open mic night. I'm not happy with our society, the lies that we inflicted in the 21st century. I told the bloke the other day, the way the banks control us is by lending us money that doesn't actually exist and charging us interest on it. Therefore, the more debt we get into, the more it artificially increases the cost of life. What I then said to this bloke was, "Hello, NatWest Customer Services, how may I help you?" I got fired from that job. I didn't. In the 21st century, banks reward you for failure, so as a result, all I'm saying is don't get into debt, that's how they control us. What I'm really saying is, Angel Comedy, is be happy with what you've got, that's what I say. Be happy with what you got. Because we don't realise that what we got is worth way more than what cash converters are willing to pay for. You really got to know what cash converters is to understand it. You seem too middle class for cash converters. Next time I'm going to change the punchline to eBay or something. By the way, Katarina's probably asked this, but give us a cheer again if you're from overseas. Woo! Great, because I want to talk about immigration now. Okay. I don't give a shit. Because some people say immigrants, they come over here stealing our jobs. Which I think is true. But also true is British people also steal other British people's jobs. That's just the nature of the job application process. There's going to be some level of fucking competition. I was talking about terrorism, that annoys me as well. Did you know it's 2012, we still have the government policy of control orders, where in theory a suspected terrorist can be put under house arrest for up to 2 years without trial. Now part of me clearly thinks erosion of our civil liberties. Well, other part of me thinks that's the quickest way I can get on the housing ladder. You laugh at that. In America they've gone one step further. They've introduced a new piece of legislation called the National Defence Authorization Act, where in theory a suspected terrorist can be thrown in jail without trial. Now I don't want to see a suspected terrorist in jail, I want to see an actual convicted terrorist in jail. You wouldn't use the word suspected like that in any other walk of life, would you? You wouldn't come to Angel Comedy to see a suspected fucking comedian. Don't answer that question while I'm on stage, by the way, please. What I'm trying to make is every time you turn over a tabloid newspaper, all you hear about immigrants stealing our jobs, terrorists all over the place. Not fucking true. Sometimes, I just think there's too much fear being spread around the world. I mean, you've got a far right-wing organisation, the British National Party. They spread a lot of fear about Islam. And it got me thinking, what religion are they going to have a go at next? My religion, Hinduism, you could just imagine the propaganda on that. Oi, these Hindus, with their reincarnation, meaning they stay in this country more than one lifetime. The worrying thing is, my Indian parents actually agree with one aspect of British National Party policy. I mean, my Indian parents now live in this country, and all they do is sit at home and claim benefits. Because ultimately they believe the British jobs should go to the British workers. You can't fuck with that logic, can you? Relax. Comedy nights. That joke's not true. I mean, my Indian parents do sit at home and claim benefits, but they also work. Come on, it's a fucking recession. It's good to see a lot of immigrants here, people from overseas tonight, because the argument the tabloid newspapers like to have is immigrants versus non-immigrants. The argument you should be having is rich versus poor. Because if you're rich in this lifetime, you can get quite far ahead in society. For example, give us a cheer if you've heard of the comedian Jimmy Carr. Now give us a cheer if you think he was right only to pay 1% tax. Some of you. Now here's a third question. Give us a cheer if you had done exactly the same thing. Well, of course you could. But the annoying thing about this, David Cameron having to go to Jimmy Carr for paying 1% tax is a bit of a hypocrisy. Does he not remember the MP's expenses scandal a couple of years ago? I mean, Jimmy Carr's admitted he's made a mistake. I mean, we all make mistakes. Let me tell you about the biggest mistake I ever made. Was gaining employment. Because I tell you, being unemployed and claiming those benefits and doing fuck all work for a moment, just for a moment, I felt like a member of parliament. By the way, give us a cheer if you lived in London more than 10 years. And give us a cheer more than 5 years. London's changed as a city to me. We've got the Olympics now, but there's still stuff I don't like about London. I was coming back from a gig the other day, Waterloo Station. It was 10 minutes away for a rail replacement bus service. I was desperate for the toilet. So what I decided to do at that time, I decided to walk down the street to take an actual piss in the street. I won't demonstrate that on stage, don't worry. As I was about to finish off, A police van pulls beside me. The policeman in the police van winds down the window and says, "What do you think you're doing, fella?" To which I reply, "I'm just taking a piss in the street, officer. That's all, that's it." The policeman then says to me, "Have you been drinking?" To which I reply, "1 pint, that's all, that's it." Here's where it gets interesting. The policeman in the police van then says to me, "If you need to take a piss in the street after 1 pint, then you shouldn't be drinking." To which I reply without missing a heartbeat, "Well, yeah. If you lot can't identify terrorists, then you shouldn't be shooting Brazilians." Who's the bigger idiot? And the same goes for G20 protesters as well, man. So, I think I lost you there, but still, nothing done about those 2 cases. I'll leave with this. A lot of my set, when I do a longer set, does revolve around identity. And one part of my identity always used to be confused about was my class. Because ultimately, I come from a middle-class family. But because of learning difficulties, I work a low-paid job. I'm a broke comedian living a fucking dream. But then it got me thinking, what I actually am is a new thing, called broke middle class. Allow me to explain. It still means I carry those middle-class activities, but unfortunately, I have to do it on a budget. For example, the last time I visited Waitrose was during the riots last year. Why didn't you go visit? You've got a fantastic lineup ahead of you. Thanks very much.